Lemonade Original.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of Lemonade's Driving Brand Growth podcast. We are here to break down the tips, tricks, and strategies behind successful marketing. And we thank you for listening, for watching, for reading us today. And I'm joined by Alon Ghelber. Alon, I really appreciate your time today. You're the CMO at Revuze, a company I've had the opportunity to get to know a little bit over the past couple of weeks, dealing with some of your sales team, diving into your product, which is amazing, and we'll get into that. But just in general, I want to thank you for your time during all of this craziness, for making a half hour or so to spend with us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just for those folks who don't know, tell us a little bit about your background before we get into the company. Would love to kind of know, how you got into marketing and where you are today, and just a little bit of that journey in an elevator, if you don't mind.
Sure. I actually have a very different background than the traditional one.
I love the different background stories.
So it all started when I started mechanical engineering, which it can't be anywhere different than marketing. So at my last year, I actually realized that that's not what I want to do, and I actually want to become a marketer. And then I just quit and moved to another degree. And I've just founded my first startup right after I dropped out of my first degree. Actually, I was able to sell it within 2 years, and then I joined Hola, which is a VPN, as a product manager, and evolved over the years as a product manager. And 3 years ago, I decided to make the move and turn to marketing. I started as in product marketing, and I don't know, the stars aligned, and the CMO quit, and the director of marketing quit, and I took both of their jobs. And this is how I became the first. This is how I became a CMO for the first time. And then around almost a year ago, less than a year ago, in November, I joined Revuze as their CMO, and built their market product from scratch, and grew as the company grew from around 30 employees to around 60, where we are today. And we're actually even hiring, which is kind of weird to hire people during this Corona time and hire people over the phone. It's kind of strange. So this is how I got into marketing.
I hear you on that. We're hiring a little bit as well, and it's weird. I mean, thankful to be in these positions we are to be able to do that right now. But there's something to be said about remaining nimble, and I know you have some roots in being scrappy when you need to be, and being nimble, and that mentality that it takes to be really careful about your decisions and your investments. Is that something you think has really helped you succeed so far?
I think that entrepreneurship background and bringing in product management background, the whole agile and Scrum approach, which is I don't think it penetrated well enough into marketing. But when you take on these product management and engineering sprints and turn them into marketing, you realize that you can do much more in much less, and everything becomes more efficient. And I think this is what really helped us over these times, the ability to pivot quickly and to change our course multiple times. Actually, we changed 3 marketing strategies within 1 year, and changed buyer personas and flipped everything around. And the ability to do that in an agile way, that's a great benefit to have.
100% agree. So tell me a little bit about that. Where were you for the first strategy versus the second versus the third? What were some of those catalysts that sort of, motivated those moves?
So we started as I joined Revuze, we started approaching uh, the consumer insight and customer experience space, which is kind of a niche market, and we had to take outbound strategy. Um, and over the course of work, where we interviewed customers and we interviewed more people and got to better understand how the market goes, we pivoted toward the tool for product R&D and marketing, which is a different persona. And selling to marketers is actually much harder than selling to consumer insights. So we moved away from outbound to a hybrid approach between outbound and content marketing. And then when we raised our Series A, we pivoted again toward product marketing and marketing, and put aside the product development as COVID struck the market. And most of our customers and everyone is more geared towards immediate goals and to not know where the future is going to be. So innovation and evolution and changes to products and setting up new product lines and manufacturing lines is not something that happens nowadays. So we pivoted away toward the marketing side and e-commerce side. On the marketing standpoint, it's actually better for us because it's a bigger crowd, and we were lucky to be in this market in the right time. But we pivoted away from this hybrid approach to a pure inbound approach. So the entire content strategy, everything changed. So these were the three pivots we had in less than 1 year.
Yeah, and it's a testament to really being willing, I think, to listen. I mean, this is sort of parallel to your product in my opinion, but being willing to listen to kind of what the market's saying, what your potential clients are saying, understanding their needs and really adjusting. And I think that's such a big theme for 2020, especially the rest of 2020, which is like, take the time that you have left, whether you do product or service, B2B, B2C, whatever it may be, and just try to understand really what that consumer needs and therefore what your buyer needs. Because even if your buyer is someone high up at a company, they're still a consumer. There's still some very unique and very personal foundational challenges everyone's dealing with during this. And if you can pivot a bit to solving those, you have or even just adding more value to an existing service you offer or product you offer, I think those are the brands that are really going to succeed right now. Would you agree with that?
That's exactly what we're preaching for. It's actually exactly what our product is doing. And so I was actually thinking our motto is listen to your customers and leverage customer insights for product growth and marketing growth. And if you preach to that and you don't believe in that, and you don't apply your marketing strategy to that, then I don't think you're in the right place. But I definitely believe that you have to listen to your customers. They know more than you do. They know their exact needs. You can only help them. You can train them, but the market knows what it needs. And if you happen to be in a position where you can help the market and provide value, brands who take that and bring on additional value, there will be the winners in 2020 for sure.
100% agree. I'd love to use that as an opportunity to understand just a little bit more about Revuze. So what is the sort of fundamental challenge that the company was created to solve, and what are you solving for on a day-to-day basis with those that take part in your service?
So what we are trying to and actually succeeding in doing is to bridge the CX gap. And for those who are not familiar with that, is most brand managers and marketing managers um, think that their customers are behaving in a certain manner, or they assume their expectations are X, but the market is saying Y. So and there's a gap. There's a gap between what customers think about a product and what marketers think that their customers think about the product. And there are many ways to try and bridge the gap there. In the 60s and 70s, they invented Net Promoter Score, and then they invented Customer Satisfaction Score, and other ways to measure something and what customers are saying, but they all rely on surveys. Um, and surveys are expensive. And when someone is willing to answer a survey, they're either 100% satisfied or they're completely pissed off. So you don't really get what the market needs. Luckily for us, e-commerce is booming. Everything is online. Everyone posts their thoughts online, whether it's about their favorite food and drink, their favorite restaurant, or any product they buy. And there's actually a research done a couple of years ago where there was a pivot between how reviews are conceived by customers. So e-commerce reviews were usually about complaints. And nowadays, it's about everything. It's about good reviews and bad reviews alike. And what we do is we tap into that data, into that mountain of unstructured data, online reviews, social media, call center data, chat transcripts, and support tickets. We take all of that, put it into an AI, which understands the text, understands how everything is going, and we can answer one simple question: is what does your customer think about something really specific? So we start with a feature function of a specific product. Can be I don't know, a specific trait, a color, or serviceability, or anything specific to a product. Then we take it to a product line, brand level, and compare it with the industry standard. And the other thing we do is, since everything is publicly available, everyone posts it online. We allow to create benchmarks. When you do a survey, you only know about, you know only the answers for the questions you asked. We allow you to ask, basically know the answers on what everyone thinks about yourself, about your products, and about your competitors, and about the entire industry. And that's the value. That's the unique value that we bring into the market.
And just because I think it helps people understand it, you've given me some good examples in the past, of like the coffee maker, for example, and things like that. So give me an example of someone leveraging your technology to help innovate or adjust what they're doing.
Right. So we actually did a research back in December this year about the coffee maker industry, and we analyzed, what customers think about coffee makers. And you would be surprised. You would expect that the first topic in mind would be taste. It's actually number 9 in the top 10 most discussed list. So people don't really care about the taste, because they care that the machine works, the design is more important than taste. Their ability to froth milk is more important than the taste itself, because when you're buying a coffee maker, the taste itself comes from the beans and not from the coffee.
It's in your home, right? You need convenience. You need something that will work reliably and consistently and quickly, right?
Exactly. So serviceability and cleanability are more important than taste for people, because they can just buy in different capsules or different beans. Um, and the other interesting thing is that we can analyze trends as they happen. So when COVID struck, and we saw the lockdown kicking in most, well, anywhere in the world basically, um, what we saw is that there was a spike in acquiring coffee makers, and a lot of people purchased coffee makers, and it reached the peak in around March to April, and then we saw a decline. But then we saw another spike in sales of milk frothlers, because people realized that, you don't only want to buy espresso, you want to have your cappuccino at home.
Time to get fancy.
And yeah, so when you have your own cup, your morning dose of caffeine, you might as well want to have it as a cappuccino. And we've gone out and we've analyzed this milk frothers industry, and we found out some nice trends. So most people care about the regular things that you would actually expect. How good is it with frothy milks, frothy milk, and how easy it is to clean, and whether you can put it in your dishwasher or you can't. Um, but then we saw some nice trends going in, which is about environmental and organic things, which is the ability to froth almond milk or coconut milk and types of vegan milks, um, and um, and the brands who were able to showcase that, yeah, you can froth almond milk or you can froth coconut milk with our machines, saw better user sentiment and better reviews, and they were able to reach higher star rating. And in addition, we saw something else. As time goes by, we saw that customers' tastes changed. So uh, over the first phase, we saw people buying these simple ones, these simple milk frothers, and then we saw an increase in reviews towards hot or warm, and they want their foam softer or harder or warmer or colder. And we saw brands that actually slightly modified their products to have the ability to add different functions, to have cold foam or hot foam. Um, and the
And
ones
they were doing this based on the data they were getting from your platform.
Exactly. So we work with big brands, but we also work with white label manufacturers. So they are the ones who are making the research. They create really good products, but they don't market it. They have other brands who market it, and they constantly tap into the market, try to rethink what new trends are going on. Um, and when they do that, they have the ability to quickly launch a product based on consumer reviews. In in most markets, what we see is that these white labels and these smaller brands are able to react faster and sell more.
Okay. And so how does it work in the background from a technology point of view, with reviews? Is it scrubbing anything and everything it can get its hands on? Like is it easy to use or set up? Like what is sort of the sort of A to Z on really putting it into motion, that solves the pain point of what I personally know, from our agency, having done a ton of sentiment analysis where we're going through hundreds of tweets and digging through social data and trying to pull out the social sentiment, which we succeed in, but it's very labor intensive, right? And I feel like what you guys do is you really solve for not only the time piece of that, but I'm sure there are other aspects you can explain a bit better.
Exactly. So everyone can analyze sentiment. There are open source tools that allows you to take text and find sentiment for it. It's easy. Everyone can do it. And everyone can pull in the data. It's publicly available. There are many ways you can get the data. What's unique about what we do is that we take all that data and we put it into what we call the second generation AI. So basically, we have a machine, an artificial intelligence that takes in all of that data and teaches itself and trains itself. You don't need to get data sets to train the machine. So for example, when you have a review like which is a review I always use, it's a review about the Dyson. It says, I would say your product sucks, but that would be a compliment. So you have all of the things that would confuse a machine. So you have sucks. Do they talk about the suction power or whether it actually sucks? They say it's a compliment, but it's actually sarcastic. So the AI takes data sets and trains itself as it goes over the entire industries. And we're able to reach 96% accuracy level with machine only. So we don't need a lot of humans to train the AI. What we all say, like there's a saying about artificial intelligence that behind every artificial intelligence, you have tons of humans training it.
Absolutely, yeah.
In most cases, you'd have, if you use only manpower, you'd have results quicker than using humans to train an AI, and we actually avoid that. And our AI teaches itself. We have some brilliant algorithms and mathematicians working for us who understands NLP and always makes modifications to the AI, which allows it to train itself better. And that allows us to actually to build a catalog of almost everything sold online and all industries, and I think 10 languages. It's pretty industry agnostic and language agnostic because we don't need anyone to train it. And that allows us to create a SaaS solution. So it's everything is a software as a service. We set up, build the data, get the data, and then customers just log into a dashboard or just get a report to their inbox on a weekly, daily, monthly, depends on what they want. And they just get it. They don't need to do anything. They don't need to train data sets, gather insights. What we happen to do is to turn what Salesforce did to a CRM.
It's super valuable. I mean, and just to highlight that a little bit more, you and I got into this a little bit last time, but I'm curious, because everybody's curious, in general, what are some of the trends that your team has seen emerging, especially in our current economy, things that make sense to focus on. And this can be super broad, but I think that there's a lot of interest in understanding where to put time and money and focus, for brands and companies that are starting as well.
So there are a lot of changes in almost every category. So in cosmetics, there's a big trend toward DIY. You can't go to the cosmetics. You can't go to the salon. You can't go to a hairdresser. So people are doing that at home, and they're doing it for the first time. And in most cases, what we saw is they're actually pleased about it. They would never a lot of sentiment is towards, I've never done this before, but the instructions are great, and I would never go to X again.
There's an accomplishment that comes along with it, right? It's sort of, so there's a connection to doing it yourself. Not everybody enjoys that part, right? But I think that it seems that that's part of what's emerging with that trend, is the reward that comes from solving the problem yourself.
And there's even more to it. People are frustrated when they're staying at home. They look for new hobbies. They look for new things to do. And when they have their own small success, I was able to dye my hair today. I was able to I don't know, to get a haircut by myself. Or there's some nice some really different things in on the cosmetics industry. It's we witnessed that men are getting hairier, and women are buying a lot of wax and do at home lasers. But men are starting to buy beard grooming and beard oils, and they start to take care of their beard, and which makes it longer or whatever. I also started to grow a beard, but and a lot of like really different things, and a lot of trends on vitamins. Vitamin D is on the rise. People are they don't get enough sun, so it's they look for products with vitamin D, and so vitamins and DIY are really trending up. I've also, the home and gardening is spiking. Home office supplies are booming. Actually, in Israel, there are no printers available. The entire inventory is sold out. Since we got like into the so-called second wave, and companies just one big company, like 6,000 employees, a big IT company, they just closed in all of their offices and moved everyone to work from home. So no printers available, no webcams are available. It's all sold out, and we see it across multiple industries. And if we want to be really specific, we've finished up making a report a couple of days ago. So it's the first time we go over this data. It's about the fragrances and perfumes. So you would expect that people will not buy perfumes because they can't really smell it. And yeah, we saw a decline in perfumes, but people still buy it. And the base fragrances, the base scents, basic scents, saw really different, some major changes. So there are more, which is something I learned about fragrances. There are different base scents, or they call base colors, and there are ones for the outdoors and ones for the indoors. And the ones for the outdoors are more citrus and herbal and stronger scents, like orange and lavender or lemon. And what we saw is that scents like orange dropped to 47% in the run rate, as it was just a year ago. And when I'm talking about the run rate, it's the share of voice. It's number of mentions out of overall mentions. So even though the overall numbers fell, statistically, it's a major drop. So the orange mint is also 28% lower. Lavender is 38% lower. Citrus and lemon is 13%. Jasmine is 31% lower. But on the other hand, some indoors fragrances, which remind people of the outdoors, like iris, which is 190% increase. Peach, fruity smells, 115%. Mandarin, 140%, cherry 190%, and woodsy smells like cedar or an oak, and specific woody smells, which are really base ones. They're also up by 128%.
Wow,
So
and it makes sense when you say it, right? Because we're all sort of longing to get out of our box, and our four walls. And I mean, I just enjoy my trip to my backyard each day at this point.
exactly.
And but breaking that down to a granular level to understand not just what you think people need or want right now, but really what the actual actions are telling you, and that's super powerful. And you guys do it in real time, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's real world numbers. It's on last week. Actually, it's not real time.
but
It's first week of June, of July. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, but that's huge, right? I mean, for any kind of product marketing life cycle or development life cycle, I mean, that's months to years. So, I mean, to understand that quickly, how things are working and functioning and start to pivot is huge. I guess that dovetails into another question I have for you, which is, do you think there are some brands right now that are really getting it right and some that are maybe getting it wrong in terms of adapting, to our normal that you've been
Yeah,
monitoring?
we do see it. We do see that. Um, what we see is that we have some brands. Actually, some of the big ones. And one of the biggest ones in this actual fragrance, where they just take in that data, the data we provide them, and they modify. They can't modify the product line so quickly, but they can highlight specific attributes of their products within their product listing. So if their perfume is sweet, or their perfume is woody, or has a sweeter scent or sweeter tone, which is exactly what people are looking for, they just added it to the title on Amazon. They just added that specific attribute to the product description, and that increased sales immediately, because this is what the customers are looking for, and they can't go to the perfume shop and smell it, right? So they just look it online and say, "Hey, I want." They probably, "Hey, I want something that smells sweeter," um, and they just buy that. And
Wow.
we see other brands, mainly. There are some Chinese brands that do that really well in the headphones industry. There's a brand called Cohen. Um, it's not one of the well-known ones, but they are doing an amazing job. If we look into all of their numbers, all of their statistics is through the roof, because they just tap into to what their customers need. The exact trends, they always stay with just something that we see that they monitor the trends, they release the right products just in the right time, and they just increase their market share really well, and they have lower budgets than the big ones, obviously.
Right, but that's how you can have an edge, right? I think a lot of times, you're always putting yourself into a box as a marketer or a CMO or whatever your role may be, and you're thinking, well, I can't do what these guys can do, or I don't have the Unilever budgets, or I don't have these resources. But what you can look for is an edge in terms of a better understanding of your potential customer, taking that time to go a little bit deeper, mapping out their needs, listening, right? I mean, listening is such an important piece of this, just fundamentally. And you guys actually take it into the technology side of it, which is great. I'm curious, with that headphones brand, what was something that they actually did that was adapted to sort of a need? Like, what was that change?
So most brands, most wireless headphones brands, were focusing on audio quality, and quality of bass, and quality of of the fine notes. I'm not an audiophilic guy, so I don't really care about that, which appears that most people are not. So, when you design headphones, you want to create the best products. You think that everyone thinks like you. You want to have the best gear, the best sound quality, but people actually cared about. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. My girlfriend is an opera singer. She needs the best quality of everything. But people, when COVID struck, they looked for noise cancellation, longer battery life, uh, better lighter headphones. So the ones that were able to create products which cater those trends, which were trending up uh, as at the end of 2019. So the ones who figured out that trend is going to take on, make lighter headphones with a stronger battery, with better noise cancellation algorithms. They might have, their bass might be not as good as the other ones because it's lighter, but the other abilities would be better, and that would fit a broader market range. They came out as the winner.
I mean, it's super smart. I mean, you have millions of people working from home now, dealing with all the technology that goes along with that, dealing with kids and noise and, everything going on in your house in the background. So focusing on those things is really the key. I mean, yeah, sure, music is great, and I have friends that are super passionate about those features too, and that's definitely not me, but I think that makes a ton of sense, and it just underscores like the importance. So something we spend a lot of time doing, which is why this is so valuable to me to think this way, which is mapping out personas, right? I think even I'm just greatly surprised, even the biggest brands in the world who I've had the luxury of dealing with at times, who haven't gone as deep in their persona mapping as they need to understand that, just because you have a product that's for a younger generation like Gen Z doesn't mean that your consumer is just one age bracket, male, female. It's 7 or 8 versions of that person. And you need to understand those different tendencies, those different initiatives that they're going to respond to, which segment of them are interested in, bass and quality for music, and all the variables that apply to that type of user versus someone who's using it for, sort of for work capacity, for a corporate capacity, for on the go things that are just more important to their world. And then using the data like in Revuze to say, okay, how do we market to that segment this product we already have and just highlight the features better. For brands that have a ton of SKUs, you've got it all right there. It's just a matter of repositioning it. And then if you're a new brand, this allows you to understand better how to position or create product. And again, I think that just comes back around to this idea that if you do want to succeed in this really crazy, weird, scary market we're in, you just have to listen, you have to map it out, you have to understand who you're dealing with and put yourself in those shoes. Because I think we can all do that if we really think about it. We're all stuck at home. We're all dealing with these challenges, right? And we all have this opportunity to put ourselves in someone else's position and sort of think logically through what would really help them right now. And I appreciate the brands that are doing that. I really, really do.
Yeah, I totally agree. I always say that the customers know it all. I can only listen to what they say a bit better than anyone else. And if I'll only be 1% better than my competition, then I will have better marketing strategy. Um, and it actually, it's something that I really believe in. I just wrote an article saying that actually brand marketing is it's kind of edgy, but it's brand marketing for me is dead. It's all about feature marketing. So if you feature if you market your features and not your brand, you would have better results. You'd have more focus on your marketing strategy, because marketing your brand is doesn't talk about the values that you provide to your customers. You can say that you have a great experience, but you can just say that I have features that will get you a better experience, and that will resonate much better and will get better results faster and at a lower budget.
Well, and that comes back a little bit to what I wanted to dive into in terms of the shift you guys made from a marketing perspective, from kind of, in your words, kind of dropping the brand marketing and switching more to that value sort of feature-based marketing, creating content and creating this community to bring the marketers into. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I'm a big supporter of that strategy and I'm fascinated by it.
So we are all about data and providing value to our persona and to our customers. We believe that if we provide in the right data, we provide in the right features that would fit the exact needs of our audience, eventually they will come to us. And that's all about inbound marketing. And if you highlight the right features and build the feature, it all starts from product. But as marketers, we don't really control the product, but we can influence the product design. And when you understand what your customers are doing with the product and how you can help them get more value and improve their own business, especially in our case where we build a tool for marketers and product managers. When you are able to show in, if you use our product, then you get X value out of it. You're in the right zone. You're in the right place. If you can even, and that's something you actually do. If you can actually count the dollars that you can actually make from using the product, and assign monetary value to a feature, that would be the best place to be at in feature marketing.
Right. And one of the ways that you guys did this, right, is I know that you've started like interviewing CMOs, you've started putting out content that sort of maps trends and some of these things that you and I have been talking about, free information, right? Information that as a marketer, you're really, interested in, you're searching for. And I think what this does, just because I want to give you a lot of credit for this, I really believe in the strategy, is it develops a community that you bring your customer into. In your case, your customers, people like me and other marketers, who need tools and expertise and services that companies like you provide to really do our job better. And by me, I don't mean our company, like just a marketer anywhere, right? It values from this, whether it's a product or a service. But we all like to geek out about the data. We like to make sense of it. We like to understand where it's going. And I think creating a culture around that your brand's providing is super savvy, because what that's doing is it's not saying, hey, come buy our product, come sign up, come give us your money. It's saying, we have tools here. Here's proof that we have something that works. Take some of it, use it, see if it helps, and if you enjoy the taste, come back, right?
Exactly, and we actually create reports, free reports for everyone on any industry. It's something that we actually did. We thought that, hey, no one is giving an NPS for an entire industry. Everyone can give a Net Promoter Score for a brand. But I looked at the data and I would say, hey, what about I'll take the data, put some statistics into it. I have a master's in statistics, I studied economy. So let's put in some statistics. Let's do some work to it, and we built out an NPS for an industry, and we just took every industry that we cover, and we just gave it away for free, um, because it's not something that we would sell to anyone, but it benefits everyone in marketing. So why not contribute?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, a lot of this info is stuff that you're going to find elsewhere, but you're not going to know how to make sense of it. You're going to take the time to search for it. So again, whoever is bringing you something that is a tool or a piece of data that's valuable to you gets an immediate street cred and reward, and I think that's really what we have to do. That's our goal with this podcast, and I don't even mind saying it. Like, there's no secret behind it. It's, let's talk to people like yourself who have value to share with the audience, who have tips and tricks and things that we can pass along, because the knowledge sharing is what really furthers the industry. Yeah, we all have products and services to sell, but that will happen naturally if you're in the right place, if your heart's in the right place, and I truly believe that. So I just wanted to, again, kind of underline that and give you guys a lot of credit there. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, appreciate it as well.
Yeah, it was a smart pivot, man. So as we're kind of getting towards the end here, something I always like to think about is some actionable tips and tricks coming from just like your experience, things that you're up to, what you guys are doing. So if you were talking to, I'm going to do this in two ways. If you were talking to a startup, right? What are, 1, 2, or 3 tips that you might give them in terms of how they approach their marketing plan and getting the right information to really make the right decisions, or in general, what are some things specifically for 2020 that you think are really important to consider?
So as marketing and startups, there are two ways to start marketing for an early stage startups. There's the approach where you need to build a brand, and then generate leads, and the other one is to first generate the leads and build a brand afterwards. I would say that it's somewhere in the middle, but you have to understand your persona. That's the most valuable thing. If you're about if you're fortunate enough to have a startup and get to a point where you start doing marketing, uh, take the time and understand your persona, analyze your persona, dive deep and write in anything you can. Interview anyone who's interested, and everyone who's willing to allow you to pick their brains. Get in as much data as you can, and only once you understand your exact persona. If you're lucky, you'll have multiple, and if you're even luckier, you only have one persona that will buy your product. Um, Find this one, create the messaging, create the features, and map the features, and build the content that would address and speak in the language of your persona. And once you crack that, then you're on the way for brand growth.
I love that. Excellent answer, excellent tip. And then on the other hand, if you're a big or bigger established brand, would that change your answer at all?
Um, well, probably not, because budgets are tighter. You have to make much more, generate more ROI than you used to have. You don't have the luxury of unattributed sales and unattributed marketing, which is a perk for sales. They don't have attribution for anything. No one asks someone from sales whether this specific lunch turned into a sale or not. But we as marketers have to give attributions for anything and anything we do, which is actually a sin by us. But we already convinced management that attribution is everything. Um, so it's all about the features, and if you have good features and you don't understand your persona, and you're a big brand and you were lucky to have a well-known brand, take the time, understand your personas. You already have the clientele, interview them, and you'll have better success going in.
100%. And I think that's really great that we just came to that, because, again, it just underscores that if you're small, and you don't think you can compete, with big brands, you absolutely can. And if you're big and you're trying to get a little smaller right now, and you're trying to streamline, there's tips and strategies to learn from each other. And I think we just, as marketers, should just continue sort of breaking down those walls and understanding how best to do it, and really understanding how best to deliver the right consumer experience, and that's what it's all about. I mean, there's really no hiding anything anymore. There's no, sort of sleight of hand. The consumer is so savvy in understanding what they're being sold, how they're being presented something, and you just have to focus on the fact that if you have something that the person you're speaking to really needs and wants, or both, or one or the other, you just have to present it in the right way, and you have to target it in the right way, and the rest, naturally should fall into place. And again, it's kind of coming back to that, like, if your heart's in the right spot, I think that you can get to where you need to get to, and compete on a level, nowadays, where you're able to punch way above your weight. And I just like leaving people with that motivation, which is, it's not all doom and gloom right now. There's a lot of opportunity. Start businesses right now. I mean, especially with the kind of information, teams like you can provide. It's insane, what you can solve for. So I'm encouraged. But I guess I would also ask you, are you optimistic about the future at the moment, or are you cautious?
Well, we're marketers. We have to be optimistic, right?
Yeah.
But I would consider, every. I don't know if I was lucky or unlucky to enter the market at the first recession in well, not the first recession, but the first big recession in 2018, in 2008, and even opened the startup, and that gave me the opportunity to be lean and understand, there's opportunity in a crisis, and I think we are gonna experience a crisis, and that's gonna, clean up the market, but there will be new billionaires, and new companies, and it's gonna be a pivotal moment for a lot of companies, and I'm optimistic because, this virus is gonna disappear, and we all learned, that, the digital innovation and digital transformation is what's coming in. It changed everything. It changed that, everyone can work from home, everyone can work remotely. It's gonna open up new markets that we've never dreamed of. So there's gonna be innovation coming in, and there's gonna be clear winners and some losers, fortunately.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of that. But
But at the end of, after every recession, there comes a time of booming growth. It happened in the Great Depression. It happened at the 80s. It happened at 2008, which was a really huge shock to the economy, and everything recovered within, less than a year. And we were at a record high. No one remembers that March was a record high, for almost everyone. The S&P 500 was at its record. That the Dow was at its highest point ever. So it recovers. We'll recover, and everything will be great again.
I agree. I think there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot of positivity here. And that's, not to overshadow the challenges everybody's going through. It's just to say that you can definitely overcome it. You can break through it. And there's definitely a lot of help and tools and the ability to really combine resources and work together. So I appreciate that about your approach. I really appreciate your time today. I think we've covered some really valuable content. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add. That's everything from me. This has been fantastic.
It's been fantastic for me, and thank you for the opportunity. And it's always a pleasure to have talks with you. So I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, myself as well. Let's do it again. In December, and let's do a State of the Union of where we're at, and what the trend lines look like.
Hopefully, it's gonna be it's gonna be positive.
I think it will. I think there's going to be some interesting data. Let's pull the data.
That's for sure. The data is gonna be like amazing. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to dig into it. All right. Well, my friend, I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, evening. And you're in Israel, so your day's wrapping up here. So
the day and the week. It's we work Sundays to Thursdays, so it's off to the weekend from now.
Right. All right. Well, have an adult beverage on me, and we'll enjoy the next conversation together. All right.
All right.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Lemonade Original.